Hey up, you're right. It's that time of week when you need to get a video out and you've no happening, so you think, what am I going to talk about? So I thought I'll just talk about van security in this one. It's going to be interesting. I'm just eating my kefir yogurt. I thought I live in a van, I may as well be a hippie. I'm going to have quinoa for my dinner. It's alright, to be honest. Yeah, we're going to talk about van security, because if you don't know, just a couple of weeks ago I had some right nutter banging up bloody window, scared life out of me. So I thought I need to up my security, and that's what I've done, and I'm going to show you my security, what I've done, and I'm sure you will be enthralled by it, and you will not be in any way tempted to break into my van. Alright, I'm just going to get in the shower and have a cup of tea. I've got to freshen up. I might even change locations, because I'm in one of my secret spots, and it's quite nice, but I need a change of scenery. Alright, I'll see you in a minute. Oh, that's another thing. Please subscribe and like, and notification thing. And also follow me on Facebook. Put it on screen. I put loads of extra stuff on my Facebook page, and we've got a really good community on there. So please, if you want to see extra footage of me and a load of nonsense and loads of Helen as well, then follow me on Facebook as well. Also, another thing, everyone that says, where's Helen? I keep telling you, she works full time. You know, most of the videos are me on my own, but I know when she comes on, they're better videos, but I don't think she's going to be on every video. Do you know what I mean? Stop having a go at me. It's not my fault that she works. Anyway, I'm going to get in the shower, and I'll see you in a bit. We'll talk about security. I'll get serious then. Right, my plan was to come here, one of my favourite spots, and go for a little bit of a walk and talk about, you know, just have a chat and talk about security. But it's horrible. It's freezing cold, it's blowing a gale, and it's spitting everybody in. So I'm gonna have to do it inside van. In fact, I think I'll go down road a bit where it's more sheltered and it'll be quieter in van. But I want to show you this first, some security stuff that I've had added. So this van has got the Thatcham alarm on it, what come when I got the van, and it's also got a tracker, a built-in tracker, so I can track it. Basically, I can see how many times I've been to McDonald's. I don't go that often, to be honest, that's a joke. But I've added some extra features, which I'll show you now. So you see up there, and here, these are blink cameras, and I've got them all around the van. Hello. Apart from there, you can see what's happened. Right, I've come in the van because it's freezing. So I've got the blink cameras. They were on offer on Amazon. I've got them all around the van, apart from the one that's fallen off, because they can be a bit flimsy. If you're going over bumps and stuff, it's going to drop off, and I need to, I want to replace it, and I'm going to sort of silicone it a little bit. I should have done that. Would I recommend the blink cameras? Because all YouTubers talk about them, and I always take everything with a pinch of salt. And I spoke to my mate, you know, Mark and Lisa, Northerners on Tour, because I know he's got them, and they said the same. They said, they're all right. They're all right, that's it. They're not like, oh, amazing. You know, first time I used them, I got 47 notifications telling me there were a spider crawling across lens. You know what I mean? And they're good for if you're in your van and you hear something, you want to have a look out. You can have them notify you, but that's a complete waste of time if you ask me, because every time a car goes past, you're getting notified. And that's good if you want to find out 10 minutes later that somebody's nicked your wheels. So if you see them in sale, I'll put all links to these in description. They are affiliate links, so I do earn a very small, and it's a very, very small percentage if you buy any of them. If you want to try them, give them a go. But I'm already having to replace one of them, but that might be my own fault. So that's the Blink cameras. That's the first bit of security I added. And novelty wears off after a bit. So when I put them up, like wherever I am, so me and Ellen's in pub, I'm like, oh, we'll just check on van. Let's have a look at van. And just like look at car parks and stuff. So I've got a tracker, and have I said that? I think I've talked about that. Anyway, the best thing I bought, I need to go back outside and show you. Right. It's good, this. Best thing I bought for van, really, this. And this were a recommendation. So this is my fob. It's a Vanguardian. And loads of you know when I had my incident, loads of you said, get Vanguardian. So right, I need to go and film it. So I've got one there. I've got one there. Excuse state at van as well, because you know what weather's like this. And I've got one there. I'll just demo it. Let me make sure the door's shut properly. Oh, there's one up back as well. But there's a car there. I don't want them watching me. So I've got my normal alarm, which is set. And then you set the Vanguardian. Can you see? And then it does another bleep. So what happens, and what would have happened that night when I had that incident, somebody bangs on window or touches handle, it sends a notification, it sends them a warning, it scares them off, apparently. But then if they do it again, it sets the alarm off, and it is really, really loud. So I'm going to test this now and show you. So I'm a wrong un, look. That's your warning. And it's trying to get in. And that alarm's off. Let me turn it off quick. And it's really loud. I don't know if that's picked it up. There's also a button. You can have a panic button, a separate button, but you've got it on the fob as well. Ooh. There's a panic button you can get, which I've got, but I've not set it up properly yet. But I've got the fob, so you know if you're in van, you can arm it, and it's quite good. It don't go off when you're milling around it back at van. But that bloke, well, it'd have set off anyway, but you know if you've not got it set and you want to scare somebody, you just press the like panic button and alarm goes off and should scare them off. That's the theory anyway. Just, it draws attention to it, do you know what I mean? I'm not sponsored by Vanguardian. I've paid for that myself. I've got the motorhome kit. It's a local, well, I say a local company, it depends where you are, doesn't it? It's a company that's based in Leeds. It were on Dragon's Den. I know loads of you have got it already and have recommended it. I spoke to the guy, Mike, who owns the company. He's a really nice bloke and very passionate. And I've got a little bit of a discount code for you. I'll put that in description as well, so you get it a little bit cheaper. It all helps, doesn't it? But I'd recommend that. I feel really a lot safer in van, knowing that, you know, people don't want any attention, do they? I've got quite a few other things as well, some gimmicky things, and we're going to talk about security and everything in van and what I've changed since that thing happened. What I'm going to do though, I'm going to get away from it. It's just too windy up on top here. So I'm going to go somewhere a bit more sheltered, get cosy in back at van, and then we'll talk about all the security issues and what we can do to protect ourselves. Right, I've just been in One Below to get Helen's Valentine's Day's present. Great, I love it in there. It's like everything's like a quid. Love it. So it's a day after now. So what happened is I got back in van yesterday. It was quite cold. You know when you're just not feeling it. So I thought I need to chill out, and I'll finish this video tomorrow. So today, now is tomorrow. Now's the day after. I'm going to make myself a crumpet and a cup of tea, and I'll talk about the rest of the security stuff, what all serious stuff, or as serious as I can be. But before I do that, I've just been reminded about a question that I get asked quite a lot. More and more of you are watching YouTube on TV now, and it's quite difficult to subscribe to your favourite channels. So people have said, how do you subscribe on TV? So I'm going to show you right now. You need your TV remote control. Now obviously yours is going to be different to mine, but with smart TVs they've all got these arrows and an OK button, so that's all you need to subscribe to your favourite channel. So you turn your TV on, obviously, and then you make sure you're on YouTube, and it will probably open the last thing you were watching.
That's it. That's it. Move.
I'm doing like trying to be fit and everything, so that's why that's come on.
That's it. With your arms now.
What you do is you press the up arrow to highlight this. Press up arrow again. Well, I'm already subscribed. Let me just unsubscribe to show you. Hang on. I'm bloody unsubscribing, mate. Right. Hang on. Press subscribe. So you subscribe. Press it again. Then you can select all notifications. So every time a new workout video comes out, I'm getting notified. I'm getting fitter. It's a win-win scenario, isn't it?
Okay. We start that way. That's it. That's it. Twist the body with it.
I've been trying that move, but I'm struggling a bit with that one. Right, it's time for me to be serious. Well, as serious as I can be. I've got my brew. It's already cold, but hey ho. And I'm going to talk about van life security from my own personal experience. And I'm going to touch on personal security as well. There's no script or anything. I've not got any notes. I'm just going to completely wing it. So if you're watching it and you're thinking, God, he's talking some right rubbish there, I probably am, but it's my story. So when I had the van attacked recently and I had the viral video, obviously lots of people commented, and I had majority lovely comments from nice people, all you lot, my subscribers and that. But when a video goes a little bit viral, it sort of gets pushed out to a wider audience, and I had a lot of this, oh, you should have done this, you know, like, oh, tough guys, I'd have done this, I want to put up with that. You're talking absolute crap. They're all about 15-year-old. Oh, you should have battered him. You should have run him over. As if you're going to do that, you know. And then there's a lot of Americans watching, and they don't realise that we don't have GUNs in this. Can't say that word because you can get demonetised for talking about GUNs. You should have. And I'm like, well, that's it. I should have done that. And I'm like, well, obviously, you know, I'm in England. Or I should have used bear spray, which that's illegal. Or pepper spray. It's all illegal in UK, just in case you didn't know. I know you can do a homemade one, but I think you're on dodgy ground when you start doing stuff like that. But there is an English version. Of course it's English, so it's a bit rubbish. But I've got that here, and I will show you that in a minute. But yeah, I did have a lot of sensible comments, and a lot of people agreed that I did the right thing. The guy was just shouting, he were off his head, probably on whatever substances, and to be honest, if he'd have got violent or started attacking the van sort of violently, I could have sorted him out. I'm a biggish bloke, do you know what I mean? And he were off his face, and I'd got me table leg, which people say you should have a baseball bat. You don't need a baseball bat. You've got your table leg or other stuff like your crook lock, stuff like that. Then at least there's an explanation why you've got them. Because if you go out and hit somebody with a baseball bat and you're not a professional baseball player, you can actually get in trouble for that, believe it or not. That's how I don't make the rules. That's just how the judiciary works in the UK. It always sort of favours villains, to be honest. So it's about us making the right choices and protecting ourselves. Now, before that happened, I was very blasé. If you watch some of my early videos, you will see me saying, oh, you never get the knock, it never happens, nobody's going around banging on vans. And then within a matter of how long, it's happened to me. And because I was a little bit blasé, my parking, I weren't as security conscious with my parking arrangements. So the place where I was parked, I couldn't really drive away quickly, and that's because I would have had to do, like, you know, have you seen that Austin Powers film where he's doing that 57-point turn? I'd have had to done that, and he's here at side of van. He'd have probably thought I'm trying to run him over, and he could have triggered him to get more violent. And if I had have accidentally run him over, you've got the whole fallout from that, haven't you? I'd got the blinds shut, but I'd also, what a lot of van lifers do, or what I always do, or used to do, is chuck everything in cab. So when you settle in for a night, you put all your stuff in cab. So it'd have taken me 10 minutes. I couldn't get away quick. It'd have taken me 10 minutes to clear out rubbish, open blinds, windscreen were frosted because it were really, really cold night. So it weren't really, you know, I'd not thought it through. But ever since that happened, I always leave a clear sort of entrance through to the driver's seat. I can always get my keys and I can just drive away dead quick. And I'm always, you know, I can be off within seconds. So it's changed my attitude in that respect. Now, a lot of people, a lot of you put comments about recommended things for me to buy. And I bought a few items and I'm going to review them. And there's links to these. I'm going to put links in description. So if you want to try any of these out, some of them I recommend, some I don't. But disclaimer, although if you buy through my link, you won't pay any extra, but they do give me like a bit of a commission. And I mean a bit of a commission. But there you go. I've got to tell you that. So the first item, so I've gone onto Amazon and I've typed in van security, and this has come up, and it's van Tamo. It's not to do with van security, it's just because it's called van Tamo, and it's just a personal alarm. So yeah, if it's great for if you're like a lady or a man about town, just for that bit of security. You have it attached to your sort of keychain or whatever, or your handbag, whatever, and it's dead easy to set off. So if somebody's harassing you, I'll put a warning up, epilepsy thing. There's going to be some strobing effects on this, so you might have to shut your eyes. So yeah, you pull it, and the speaker might not pick that up because when something gets so loud, it sort of limits the audio, so it'll not sound as loud on your telly as it does here. It is incredibly loud, and there's the strobe effect, so that's going to draw attention to you. It's not really a van life thing, but they're dirt cheap, a few quid them, so it's worth having in your handbag, isn't it? So that's that item. Now, with regards to pepper spray, bear spray, things like that, it's all illegal in the UK, but there is an alternative. I need my glasses for this, and that's this. Let me show you. Now, they come in a pack of 2, and I've given some of this stuff I've given to my sister. I've given one of these to our Rebecca, and it's called Farb Gel Spray Criminal Identifier, and it's like, you know, silly string. You press that down and spray it, and it's like a fine jet, and it's like a bright pink foam, and if you get that in your eyes, it is very, and you can't get it off. That's why I've not tested it. So Helen, I'm showing it Helen, and she's, oh, let me test it. I'm like, no. Do you know what I mean? I suppose I could have put my glasses on and that, but it's like you have to scrub it off. And it's for when there's pickpockets and stuff like that, you can spray them and it helps identify them. They can't just wipe it off. But that would be disorientating. So somebody's being a bit funny, just come out, spray them with that. But on its own, is it any good? I don't know. But when combined with other things, this is when it gets better. So when there's alarms, you know, like vehicle alarms and stuff like that, they're always going off, aren't they? So you're in a car park, there's always a car alarm going off, and what do? We completely ignore it. It's like, oh, it'll be a mistake or something. So you need something that's a different kind of sound. And I was thinking this through, and that's when I come up with this. That's what you want. Now, I'm not saying you're going to carry this around in your handbag, but here we've got, look at this. I'm in van, somebody's being a bit of a div outside van, they're getting very threatening. I'll just go out and go up to them, spray them in the face. That is so loud. Honestly, I've nearly used all gas up in it, because when I showed it to my daughter, she's like, oh, it's hilarious, do it again, do it again. So that again, not expensive. I can't remember might have been less than a tenner, that. Right. I know you're probably not going to take these serious, but I like having that there. It draws attention. People are all going to look when you're setting that off in a car park, aren't they? Or on a campsite. Right. And then the next thing is what loads you told me to get. Now, it's not a specific, I mean, they're all the same. They're all like Chinese things, really. This brand I've got is called Blue Car, and it's a really, really high-powered torch. Now, it comes in a nice case. They're probably all the same, whatever brand you get. And they're handy to have anyway, aren't they, in your van? Look, you can have it on your belt next to your alarm. But I don't know how I'm going to demonstrate this to you, really, because it's broad daylight. But to say this is high-powered is an understatement. I'm going to shine it. You're not going to see. All right, you can. So that's in broad daylight. If you shine that in your eyes, it's really, really dazzling. It completely disorients. Oh, I can do like rabbit something. Is that a rabbit? It's completely disorientating, and you can make it small, or make it big. Make it small, make it big. But that's not it. There's another feature. Check this out. Right, strobe warning. Are you ready? So cover your eyes. There's different dimnesses. You ready for this? Look at that. Right. Shine that in somebody's eyes. I think that's good security. I don't care. I don't care what you say. That's good security. And it does SOS flashes as well. But that's just handy to have in van. Some of them are bigger. I know you can pretend you're like a policeman and hold it like that. And then if somebody comes for you, so you shine it in the face, you dazzle them. If they keep coming, if they're deranged, get it like that. Spray, horn, get it, bloody hell. Telling you, nobody's messing with me. I'm joking, but do you know what I mean? It's just nice to have and that's on top of alarms that are all going off. It's like bloody whatever, sound effects and everything. Oh, that's the thing. People talked about, you need a recording of a dog, a loud dog. And so I thought that's not a bad idea, but you need a big speaker. My Bluetooth speaker is not very powerful. So I went on YouTube and I don't know if I put with it, and I got some dog sound effects. At first one that come up, it were like all different dog sounds. It were like a Rottweiler, and then it were like a little Pekingese or whatever. So you can imagine you're setting that off to scare burglars off, and they were like, how many chuffing dogs has he got in there? It's like a bloody dog pound van, that. You know, so I don't think that's going to work. And then another video, it's like a really ferocious barking. Then advert comes on. You're blasting that out your speaker. It's 2 for 1 at Aldi. You know what I mean? It's not scaring people off, but if you could have a proper recording and a decent sized speaker, then that might work. But it's a lot of faffing into it. I don't think I'm going to have to go to that dog level when I've got all these other things. Right, my final recommendation. So when all this has happened, I was reminded of a book, and it's called The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker. I think, yeah, Gavin de Becker. He's not related to that tennis player. I read this years ago, but I've actually ordered it again because it is one of those books that sticks with you, and it's really, really good. And it talks about how fear is actually a gift. Fear and anxiety are completely different things. Fear is a gift, anxiety is a waste of time. Anxiety is worrying about stuff that might happen in the future. Fear is, it sort of stokes your adrenaline, it makes you think clearly, and it helps you to act in the moment. So it's good to be scared. When you're in a situation like that, it's good to be scared because you can act decisively. But this book has some really, I've not read it again. It's got write-ups by Meryl Streep and Carrie Fisher. She's died, hasn't she? And he was the US's leading expert on violent behaviour, and he works for FBI, and he even worked. Is it Jodie Foster? You know her that were on Silence at Lambs? She had a really bad stalker, didn't she? And he helped her out. So it's all the psychology and everything. But obviously I'm not going to read it, yeah? I recommend it though. What bits can remember is about intuition. Your intuition is really, really important. Trust your intuition. How many times in life have we all had these strange feelings? Something's a bit off, something don't feel right. Or you meet people and you think there's something wrong about them. You know, I've been in relationships with half of them. But I joke, but in my past life, I've had relationships, and right at the beginning I thought, there's something off here. And lo and behold, there was. So yeah, you gotta trust your intuition with things. And it does lots of specific stories about examples, and it's not just, you know, it's not about van life, but, you know, especially for women, because women suffer the most from wrong-uns, don't they? And I hate the fact that I've got my sister and Helen, and I've got my daughter growing up, and I worry about the way the world's going. It's one of my biggest, talking about anxiety, that's one of my biggest bloody anxieties, because there's some bad people, mainly men. And it talks about how to spot subtle sort of things, signals and stuff, because your intuition, you're picking up on subconscious things, and you don't necessarily realise, but your subconscious is picking up on it. You've got to trust it. You know, things I can remember, if somebody's overstepping the mark, they have this thing called forced teaming. So a lot of women might know about this. You could be on a campsite, for example, you could be parked up and somebody's over friendly. Oh, I'm a good guy, I just want to be a friend. Do you know what I mean? And if you feel uncomfortable, the number one thing is, don't be scared to be assertive with people like that. You don't have to start ranting and shouting straight away, but you be assertive. When they're asking you, do you want to do this? You know, especially when they're a bit forceful. Do you want to come and have a coffee in my van? No, it's okay. Oh, come on, and they push it a little bit. No, seriously, no, I'm not in. And you've got to be firm with these people. If ever you feel like somebody's following you and you feel uncomfortable, especially if you're 90% certain somebody's, or giving you, you know, these blokes that are like, I've seen loads of videos, it's shocking, it's just going up to women and making them feel uncomfortable. If you're ever in that situation, you stand up and you're forceful and you're assertive, and you do that while there's people around, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're in a dark alley or something like that and they've followed you. You be assertive to the face, because these people, you don't know what their agenda is, and I'm sure in their wacky crazy heads they can justify some sort of violence or something like that. But you don't want to wait that long, do you? You've got to make them realise that they're not going to have an easy time. They want people that are sort of meek and quiet. That's what bullies want, isn't it? I mean, my dad always used to say to me, if ever anybody bullies you, you stand up to them. And that is a number one rule. You stand up to bullies. They're going to have a hard time. Look, they might attack you. That's what I always used to think. Even if a bloke's really bigger than me and he's like wanting to fight me, I'm thinking, look, you might hit me, you might beat me up, but you're going to suffer as well. All right. And you see it, you see them sort of doubting themselves. I've been in that situation a couple of times, and that's the best advice I've had, stand up to them. Obviously, if you can avoid those situations, you avoid it. You know, when there's like road rage and stuff like that, it's like, that's men, isn't it, with a masculinity, and they always want to have last word and they feel embarrassed. But there's nothing daft about getting out of the situation, because you don't want to get or I'll have to cut that word out. You don't want to get something that could be potentially fatal. So, you know, forget your ego sometimes and get away from the situation. But if you can't get away, be strong and be assertive. It's all about that in this book. I mean, it goes into so much detail, it's great. Just the subtle cues from people's body language, you know, when people are shifting from foot to foot, things like that. If somebody's going to attack you, if somebody's going to punch you, they usually look at where they're going to punch. first. And it's about you keeping the distance. I know I'm getting a bit deep. Anyway, I'm rambling on. But yeah, I recommend that book. I really do. Because at the end of the day, it's all about being safe and surviving. And one thing you've got to take away from this is it is incredibly rare. Most violence is committed by people that know each other, but violence to random strangers is incredibly rare. I can't remember statistics. It is really, really rare. So don't, as I said, spend your whole life. What was that? Crime Watch. Don't have nightmares. So don't worry about it. Just be prepared. Just know these things and have your security, but don't spend your whole life panicking and worrying about it. I've had one instance in this van in 2 years, and it's highly unlikely this is going to happen, at least for a long time, especially now I'm more sort of clued up and I won't park somewhere. If I get a bad feeling, which recently I've had that as well. I've gone into a car park where people say you can spend night there, and I pulled in and I've sat there and I've thought, don't feel right. I don't know why, no logical explanation, but there was something that felt a little bit off about that car park. So I just found another one. Alright, so I know it's all a bit serious this, but I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to, like I said, assure you that be prepared, and it's not as scary out there. There's some wrong uns, but if you get that book and you learn how to spot them, majority of people are good. Majority of people are kind, loving people, but it's just the odd. There's a lot of mental health issues out there, isn't there? So there you go. That's this little video. That's me rambling on, but I think it's an important subject. I've got Helibobs, 4 days with Helibobs, so we're going to have some good fun vlogs coming up. It's Valentine's, isn't it? So it's Valentine's tomorrow. So I says, where do you want to go? She says, will you take me somewhere expensive? So I took her to the petrol station. Who said that? Was that Mick Miller? I can't remember. Somebody said that joke. Anyway, there you go. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, because there's lots of extra stuff on Facebook for you to sort of get involved with. And I'll see you next video. Alright. Silly. Silly. Be good. Love you. Love you. Night night.